I
Oh,
think
yeah, we are.
we're live. Hi, live. You gotta give the internet a couple minutes to
To
stroll.
catch up. Hmm.
Now it's counting on my end anyway. Well, good morning, saints and ain'ts. Welcome, 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 welcome. I want to start off with this. And take notes with these words, with these lyrics, with this piece as you will. It is not mine. It's getting hard for me to hold my own. See, nobody wants to be in love alone. So I'm trying my best not to overreact. But now I need to know no lies, just facts.
Mm.
So that song is called Say So by PJ Morton. And we welcome you to whatever the name of this program is, um, Compassion and Compromise. I am Brysen, from Sweet Spot Media. You can find me at the original Brysen. And I am glad to once again be a part with my background music is loud to me. Sorry. It's Jill Scott. I love you, Jill. Proud to be here with my dynamic duo once again. And I really want to give you guys your flowers right now. So we're just going to take the time and I'm going to read your bios. I have not memorized them because y'all got a lot going on. Um, I want to introduce, always ladies first for Romance Awareness Month. I want to introduce, in all my notes, Angel Simmons. You can find her at angelsimmons.com. Angel Simmons is an author, advocate, actress, coach, columnist, model, producer, speaker, storyteller, and the CEO of the Message Inc. And I just want to let you know how much I appreciate how that's in alphabetical order. Thank you
I did that on purpose.
for your nerd friends like me. Welcome, Angel Simmons. And if you just feel
Thank
so
you.
inclined, you guys can go get her
Thank you.
books,
Thank you so
books,
kindly.
books.
I'm so
Love's
glad to
Great
be here.
Design and Target of Love.
Excellent.
Welcome. Good
Thank
morning.
you. Good morning,
How are you?
afternoon, evening,
I like
good
your
day,
burgundy.
new week. Thank you.
Oh, right. And your peacock. Uh-huh. Your peacock feathers. I watched the
Thank you
little
so much.
program last night, called 100 Humans, and they were talking about
Me too.
the purpose of the peacock and their feathers. That's really ironic that you have on those peacock
It might have
earrings.
been subliminal. Maybe that's
Might have
why I
been
did it.
subliminal. Well, come on, peacock,
Peacock.
peacock. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone, and I'm gonna introduce Mr. Relationality himself, Soul Society 61, and this fella's bio is so big. He is an author and a philosopher in his own right. His credentials include a master's of human services counseling, marriage and family, as well as undergrad degrees in psychology and Christian counseling and worship studies. He holds an advanced diploma in biblical counseling certifications in the life, relationship, and mindfulness coaching niches. Additionally, he is a certified grief recovery method specialist, certified relationship workshop facilitator, ordained pastor, certified prepare enrich facilitator, licensed marriage officiant, effective black parenting training instructor, and he holds several other certifications and distinctions. He is Mr. Relationality
Mm,
with hashtag I am love for you as his mantra. So all
Dang.
of these words
well,
mean that he's a certified relationality specialist. But
well,
to me, he's my friend. He's LeAnzar Stockley. Welcome, sir.
welcome.
Thank you.
Boy, I need a drink of water. You done made me sweat with all them words.
It made me sweat. I was still
Welcome.
like, wow.
This pre-moist mouth Monday,
You didn't remember all that.
I'm trying to get it together. Um, I'm glad to do this show. I'm glad you guys oblige me. Oftentimes, for people in the audience who are listening, we keep an open line of communication, the three of us all the time, and we flirt with what our topics can be, where we're going, where we've been, whatever's going on in the world. Um, and although I think we clearly have a good bless you,
It was a cough.
oh bless you still,
That's you, Steve.
yes.
Let's
Um,
see it.
and even though that I think we're alike in a lot of ways, we're all very different, and we all are very opinionated. So that makes it work, but we all respect each other, so it makes it work. So August, August is a special month. August is Romance Awareness Month. Be very honest, I never heard of Romance Awareness Month until last month. But I found it very funny because my birthday is in August, so I often find myself comparing um, the things these things that they put together for these months and see how it applies to me. So I was wondering if I was romantic, uh,
Mm.
being born in Romance Awareness Month. The world may never know.
Are you? You're not a romantic.
This is probably all the romance I got right here with y'all. I want to do some highlights on Romance Awareness Month. It's centered upon reflection, realignment from summer moments of fun, back to work, holiday vibes, and cuffing season.
Mm.
Cuffing season starts August 1st and it runs through August 31st.
Does it?
So we've been running all summer. When I say we, this is just a general statement. We've been running, we've been having fun all summer, summer vibes, rooftop parties, day parties on the yacht, all the things, with our boo or the new boo that we met or the new boo that we want or the person we might be trying to get rid of. So in this Romance Awareness Month slash cuffing season month or dismissal season month, um, do you even want to stay in a relationship?
Oh my God.
Is it worth the compassion? Is it worth the compromise? This is what we want to know tonight. Is it worth the compassion? Is it worth the compromise? Cuffing season, romance awareness. Let's put it together. Let's make it make sense.
Mm.
Angel, why are you making that face?
I
Cause I
actually had to look up cuffing season.
look, I've been at work all summer. I ain't had none of this fun that you just ran off on this
That's
month.
why
And then
we was a general statement because I ain't had none of this fun either.
like I've
But
been at
when
work.
you but when you look on all the social media platforms, it's all the day parties, it's all the yacht parties, it's all the
Mm.
babe this, boo this, whoever this, that, and the third. But now that things are about to simmer on down, and it's time. Hoodie weather is approaching, and we gotta simmer on out, and maybe start back adulting. In a more business fashion. Where are we going with our relationships? Where are we going with romance awareness? Not only this month, but beyond. Um, is this your summer that you've had? Is this something that you want to carry on into the winter season when it gets cold and you can't just get up and go outside? You want to be locked up in with this person? Was it love? Was it summer love? Was it
Mm,
lust?
mm,
Did you end up dipping back in the pot over the
mm.
summer? What did y'all do? This is what I want to talk about with my geniuses, with my dynamic duo. Um, Angel, I see the eyes that you're making. Lee is looking through the window. So,
Mm-mm.
Angel,
I'm looking at a different. I'm looking at the computer screen.
you looking at the
Different
computer
computer.
screen?
Yes, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at cuffing season.
Oh, you're
Oh,
looking it
oh,
up.
you have to look it up. Oh, well, what did it
Mhm.
tell us what it says? I've
There's
never
a
been a
couple of
part of
things. There's
cuffing
a couple of
season.
things here. One just says cuffing season refers to a period of time where single people begin to look for short-term partnerships to pass the colder months of the year. And then there's another one say cuffing season is so called because it describes the desire to be tied down or cuffed that often arises in the colder months. So it sounds like it is seasonal. It's
Mm,
just for a time being. So short term relationships for a season. Huh?
wow.
And that's very true. That's what I understand it to be. I've this topic has come up a couple of times for me on previous shows, and I find it very funny for one. But because I didn't know it was a whole thing till a couple of years ago. So right now, scouting is August 1st through the 31st. Today is the 7th.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we're scouting right now for all of those who might be interested. We're scouting right now. And if you'd like to scout, you can DM me at the original Bryson.
Oh,
Okay. That's my shameless plug.
I,
It, it doesn't go down in my DMs though. Does it go down in y'all DMs?
it
Tell the
depends
truth.
on
uh,
Tell
what
the truth. So y'all
it
both of
depends
y'all
on what
lying.
go down means.
right. Let's go down. If you want to talk about random messages from Africans that tell you you're beautiful in the morning, and are trying to get in the country, yes. Old white men and Instagram who
Not trying to get in the country.
offer to be your sugar daddy, yes. There are always hidden messages somewhere from somebody trying to holler, "Good morning, you're beautiful. I love your profile. I don't know you." Block
Mm.
and delete immediately. Block and delete. That's only going down in the DMs I'm familiar with.
Well, the only
I
thing
don't even get that.
I don't get that either. The only thing that goes down in my DMs is sometimes
Pictures.
draws.
Sit.
Yeah, draws.
Pictures.
Actually, yeah, you're right. So there are sometimes people who just drop pictures and stuff like that. It's just random.
So
Ain't
you
got
get
nothing to
more
do with nothing.
pictures, LeAnzar. You get more pictures. Angel, you get more messages, or
Stranger danger. That's
You
what
know
I
what
get.
else I get? I get a lot of people messaging me that seems the oddest thing in the world. A friend request, and then they come into the inbox and say, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm, with what I do, I'm like, "Okay, what's the nature of this?" Oh, I'm just trying to be your friend. But it seems
Block
like
and
there's
delete.
usually a little something else going on behind it. But
Mm,
I mean, I guess I don't. Most time, I don't let them get further with most people. So it's just like,
mm.
so pictures and weird messages, mostly messages for you, Angel.
Mostly messages or like a link to somebody's profile. But that's it.
A link to their profile
To their profile.
to display.
Whatever's on their profile.
Did you ever click on it? You ain't never clicked on. You ain't never clicked on one.
yes, you do.
If the name sounded familiar, it sounded like somebody I knew. But
Familiar,
for the most
familiar or
part,
cute,
no, familiar, because I'm not, because I don't want to open no random link and it might not go with
and it'd be
say
spam.
right. We don't need that.
Then you
Yeah, I
get the
don't
It
blue
follow
always
that.
screen. Is the
and
blue
it's
screen
all
still a thing?
what's
Hmm,
the blue thing? What's that?
I don't
When your
know.
computer used to shut down, the
Yeah, it's
blue
still a
screen of
thing.
death.
It's
Oh, I
still a
don't
thing, I
know.
think, because I
Yeah.
actually just had a laptop that was doing that. So yeah.
Yeah. But these invitations to, for people to want to be my sugar daddy, that's probably the most interesting because it's always somebody that look like they had me chained up in the outhouse back in 1910.
Not in the
I
outhouse.
don't really think you want to be my sugar daddy. I feel
So
like
it's never anybody of color.
to be my sugar daddy? Nope, never,
That's
never.
interesting.
It's
Wow.
always Phil,
Bruh.
George, Henry, Hank.
Not Hank,
Mm.
Yeah, Marshall. It's
Marshall,
Wow.
always one of them. Never
Marshall.
anybody of color.
You should ask them though. You should ask them what are the requirements.
Whatever it is, I ain't doing it.
I mean, you might just have to show your pinky toe, the crusty part of your pinky toe. That's what some people like.
Yes, it is.
Only
Cash
fans.
apps for the pinky toe.
Yeah,
DM me and ask
DM them.
specifically. You want a pinky toe pic?
You want them to DM you at Love's Great Design, or you
Right.
want them to DM you at the Message Inc. Which one do
Neither.
you
Right.
want?
I
Y'all
don't
see how
know.
I dropped them in there?
Hmm.
You want Love's
Oh
Great
my goodness.
Design and the Message Inc.
You looking for pinky toe pics? That's
If you're looking
I,
for Pinky Toe pics, she's the one.
Pinky toe
mm.
pics.
That
Pinky
is
Toe pic.
hilarious. I find this interesting. This whole cuffing season premise here because I don't know anybody who would intentionally start a relationship knowing that this is a seasonal opportunity. I
Girl,
don't
that
know
happen every
anybody.
day.
I said I
Every
don't know.
day.
I don't know
You know them. You
anybody
just don't know you know
who,
them.
but who would want that though? Who would sign
There's a
up
lot of people.
for?
Oh,
Who
I
would
don't
sign up for that? For a
most of our
temporary
relationships
situation.
today, like seriously, like I guess you probably wouldn't say a sign up in that way, but it's like a lot of them are "you're my right now." We go into them with "you're my right now." I ain't sure. I'm trying to get to know you. How many? If we had some way to do statistics, I have no statistics for this, but it's just like just in our experience of hearing these statements and seeing our friends that said, "Oh, I'm just trying to get to know you." How many of them actually turned
Mm,
into a full blown relationship and lasted?
interesting.
From my experience, a lot of them never did. Like it's almost like those words. "Oh, I'm just trying to get to know you," never ends up being,
Mm.
or
Mhm.
rarely ends up being, this long term type of thing. But it's like I think a lot of people have this idea right now, relationship. You're my right now.
But isn't
I
that
felt like
the
that to people.
isn't that the premise of actual courting and dating?
I think it is.
Well, I
I
think
mean, or
well,
it used to
It's
courting
be.
not
and
that the
dating.
statement isn't true to "I'm getting to know you." Like,
Mhm.
like the actual process of it is you're getting to know a person. But I think it's almost a catchphrase at this point, or
Mm.
A
it's a
cliche.
it's a cliche and a reason not to have to make a commitment. Like
That's it right there. It's a cop out.
it can be.
Cop
Like now
out.
you just meet them, obviously it's whatever, but it's a looser term
Mhm.
than having to, walk up to you and say, "Man, I really think you're beautiful and I would love to take you out." And
I've been waiting on you to ask me that for like 10 plus years. I've been waiting, and I feel like you just said it right now. I feel like
receive
you just said it right now.
receive it now. Come on,
I'm
you my
grasp I'm reaching.
chocolate mocha. Come on. It's mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lord.
But yeah, it's like it seems like a looser term. Ain't nothing to it.
No strings attached.
There's no strings attached to
Just
it,
trying
which
to
is the
get.
same when you first meet somebody. But it's just like
Yeah.
that has another
Yeah.
thing on to it.
I
Just
think
trying to
when
get
you
to know
yeah,
you.
when you get to the level of dating and courting, you're looking at long term. The
Mm.
intention is to be
Thought is.
around. What?
I said the thought is.
The thought is, yes, your intention is to put some time into this. It's a commitment. It's something.
I don't agree with
Um,
that.
well, for courting, maybe
What's the
not dating,
difference?
because everybody got different definitions of dating
Okay, so it's
nowadays.
court, then you date.
No, you date,
You
then you
date, then
court.
you court.
Oh,
Courting
okay.
is
So
is
courting is a little
long
more okay.
term situation.
That's like going steady.
Yes,
That's going.
that's the going steady, and I'm gonna talk to your parent. I'm gonna meet your parents and tell them my intentions, and ask their permission and for their blessing when the time comes. That's courting.
So
Dating,
courting to engagement.
courting to engagement.
Got
Dating right now is whatever.
it. Is that a thing though? Still dating? I don't. Does it happen? I mean, I guess it happens because because we don't hear people use the term to say we're courting.
Yeah,
So it
No,
seems
you
like
don't. You
dating
don't
has
hear.
taken the place of court, like terminology wise, or
I think it has, but some people use dating very loosely as well. Dating used to be I'm dating this person. Now dating is I'm dating all these people to see
I'm
which
dating
one I
also.
like the most.
Until I say I'm
But
dating
I
exclusively.
feel like I feel like people. I feel like the old cats used to do that. The baby boomers used to do that. Who you got to date with tonight? Or I'm taking what's the old lady name? Helen. Me and Helen are going to the sock hop, you know, and then but I mean, dating doesn't necessarily, just sneak freaking all over the place. You want to get to know different people and how their personality or their character or their being or their love applies to you, right? So
I
I
think
think
that's what it turned into, the sneak freak.
maybe not now, Miss Burgundy. Um, but I think, dating gives you the flexibility. I think it gives you the options to not put all your ducks in a row. And I think oftentimes, in the past or current, or I think with our generation, from my area anyway, I'll say from my area, because we all grew up in different spots. When you started dealing with somebody in whatever capacity, like you start kicking it, or you start talking on the phone, or you write notes at school, or what, you're automatically together, versus having the conversation. Just because I like you and you like me and we hang out, we do other things, that does not mean we go together. That does not mean we're in a committed relationship, and
They,
it doesn't have to mean that if we have not put a definitive attachment to it.
hmm
And I think oftentimes people get caught up in a definitive attachment to whatever your actions may be, even though you haven't had that conversation. And I think that's where a lot of relationships probably go wrong. And then that's when the compromise and the compassion comes into play, and people get their feelings hurt. But you have put all of this in rotation, and I never agreed to be in a relationship with you, dear.
I
Now, is
feel
there
like
certain
that's.
things that say? Go ahead.
I was gonna say I feel like that's a woman thing more so than from
Who do
a
that?
man's perspective. Who do that? Absolutely. Once they start spending their time and sharing their heart and their space and all of that in
And
their mind,
they Hakuna Matata.
we go together. We go
That's what I
together.
was.
This is because it's exclusive for her. And most times it's expected for a woman to be exclusive with the gentleman, even if he's not exclusive with her. It is still an expectation that, she be loyal and
Mm-hmm.
exclusive, even though
Mm-hmm.
he dipping and dabbing every other weekend. And other people know it, and they haven't had a conversation, but he'll ask in certain spaces, you know, you mine, right? You my girl, we doing this, whatever, anything to make it sound good, or throwing around a hubby and wifey, and all kinds of them terms. Yes,
Really?
do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of stuff, and for a woman, it's more of an emotional attachment. I think sometimes it might happen sooner. If it was something that she was looking at and fantasizing about even before they got into it, and now she's stuck with thinking they in a relationship, and what is it? A situationship.
Whose
Mm.
fault is that?
I think it's everybody's fault. I do think we have to be responsible with our emotions enough to ask the important hard questions, those hard conversations we don't want
Mm-hmm.
to have, as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to what is this, what are we doing, men hate that question. But at the same time, if a man who is not dating someone exclusively and has multiple prospects should make that clear, that you're not the only one that I'm seeing, or I am seeing somebody else, or we're just figuring this out. Whatever LeAnzar said, just getting to know each other. Whatever the caveat is that you add to that, so that you don't feel as guilty. I think he needs to say something so that she
But then,
understands.
but then the question becomes, because I think what confuses me even with the whole dating stuff, or even like how we're talking, is there a different behavior that should be happening during the dating phase that doesn't happen when the we're together phase and we've made
Yeah,
some type of a commitment?
I
Because because
absolutely think
honestly, if you're doing the exact same thing during dating, which would include everything except for maybe sharing money, but you're having the sex, you're doing all of there's the flirting, there's the, like, should there be some type of distinction? Because how does that look different from when you actually say, okay, we're exclusive? Is it just now I'm only sleeping with you, flirting with you, whatever with you? Do you understand what I mean? Like,
yeah. I
because if
think it's
if, if
different.
dating looks just like courting,
Hmm.
or if getting to know you looks like dating, which also looks like
All
courting,
that, all that.
is it just a mental thing that we're supposed to hold and have? Because then when we start engaging certain things that look the same, do we not ignite something else that may lead us towards
I
feeling
believe,
like, hey, there's supposed to be some commitment here, or there should be
but
some kind of responsibility here?
you're right. And the first thing you said was if we're having a sex. So perhaps if you get to know somebody and dating multiple people, that should be something that's not on the table. All those that flirting, good morning messages and good night messages and talking during the day, that you got too many people to engage with. You shouldn't have time for all of that. So it should
Hmm.
be some things that are off the
If
table.
you're dating or if you're courting,
If you're dating or just getting to know somebody, then
then you should have all of that on the table. You should have all of that on the table if you're just dating and getting to know somebody. You should be able to have that flexibility without any judgment or reprimand. I think if you choose to take it to the next level or and decide to date exclusively, then you remove some of those things from the table. But if I just want to, if I want to hang out and I want to get to, like, that's a thing. The Marnisha said, "Don't have to say." Um,
I'm
but
with
I,
you,
but it's
Marnisha.
a,
Hey, Marnisha.
it's a thing, now, especially, and I really think that it really blossomed throughout the pandemic. I mean, we all were itching for, as much introverts as the three of us are. I think that everybody was itching for some type of connectivity of whatever sort. It ain't got to be date. Just reconnect with the people that you love. The people that you even care about. Not even new people, right? So
Definitely not movie.
Mm.
what I've seen a lot of, and what I've been, I guess I say, put on game for a lot of, is the new dating scene, which is mingling, dating groups, dating clubs, where they go on trips together. Everybody's single, and everybody, me, you, Lee, we on the trip. Me, you, Lee, and 5, 10 other people. We're single. We're exclusive. We're out as friends. Having fun, going up, but we're a dating club. Um, and if you want to link up with somebody and maybe take that opportunity to get to know each other better, we can meet up in Vegas. We can meet up in Detroit. Everybody meets up in Orlando, Miami. And that's the thing now. That's the blossoming thing now as far as dating and getting to know people. We take these trips together, and we see how we can connect.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Seems to be.
if you go back to teenage years, depending on whose house you was raised in, um, dating started as group dating anyway. You didn't go out with nobody alone
Mm.
as a
I
teenager.
ain't going on no dates,
It was
period.
group dates until a certain age, and now you can go out with this one who you are exclusively dating. That's my experience with how dating even began. Group. It was a group setting. If you go into somebody's house, who gonna be there? It's got to be somebody there. It's not just y'all two on the couch because you ain't doing no homework. That's not happening.
And that was just because they were scared everybody's gonna have sex.
And you were
Yeah.
having
Because
fun.
you
Oh, and you
because you're
probably
gonna
were
play
having.
spin the bottle.
Let's
You're
see
gonna play
that.
spin the
Oh,
bottle.
absolutely. Unless it's a parent, that's standing around and somebody kissing in the closet. No, but it had to be a group date because they knew it was gonna turn into something else, hormonal. Uh,
Hmm. And see, that's why we see that. This reminds me of a conversation, and well, I'll get into that because like it's a. I'm sure it's gonna come up in this conversation, but um, the whole with the whole group dating thing and the we're gonna have sex and but we'll get to it. I know it's gonna come up.
I wanna shout out Marnisha, because Marnisha is feeling what, especially what Angel is talking about. Marnisha, thank you for tuning in, for sure. We appreciate it. And she's saying, hold on. She's saying, hold on to it. Don't have the sex. Um, I'm assuming she's saying, be clear, because if you're getting to know someone, it can be misleading. Marnisha, what do you mean about the easy access? You won't get caught. What is that? What are you referring to right there? That's interesting.
yeah, tell us
If you
more.
can elaborate a little bit more on which
There is a
part you're
link for
referring
folk to
to.
come on here. Y'all know that, right?
There is. If
It's on my
anybody's
page.
if
I
anybody's
don't know.
interested in popping in the studio, we can shoot you a link to
It's
pop
one on
on
my
in.
page if
Y'all
they
gonna
looking
put
for
the
my page.
people on the spot?
If they want to, they don't have to.
You
You
ain't
know.
got to. You ain't got to. But if you want to elaborate more without having to type it, you could pop on in and do that.
I mean, y'all can. Y'all can. But it's interesting. It's super interesting, the dating aspect, or whatever you want to call it. Nowadays, especially Oh, easy access on the group trip so you don't get
Mm.
caught.
Well, then you with anybody in the group, anybody there,
Mm,
But I mean, I think
anybody.
our we always correlate, you know, connectivity with sex. Is
mhm.
everybody having sex? Like for real, for real? I mean, I know it goes down, but I mean, does all these correlations? I mean, do all these connections have to correlate with sex?
Well,
Because
you
that's that's where
understand.
that's where
It
we
seems like
that's
that's where it goes all the
Mm.
time, but it's like it don't have to do that because I've had conversations with people on some of these apps
hmm
that had nothing to do with sex,
right,
and there was some genuine connections made,
right.
just through conversation
Mm.
with some folks, and it was like and some fulfilling conversations or some fulfilling connections, for what it was, I guess. you know um some that may even still be connections today that never went to a sexual direction. you know so I don't know. I don't think it's everybody, but I also think it's hard to have the conversation about these kind of things because then what's the line before you feel like people are saying you're being sex negative or you're being
Mm.
what's the word, you're being a serial monogamist or you're being, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to even have these conversations sometimes. Where for me, I generally come from
A
the realm
serial
of,
monogamous.
yeah,
Wow. I don't know if I've
serial monogamy is a big thing now. That's what those that are not serial monogamous kind of say about people who are.
So a
They call them
serial
serial
monogamous is somebody
who's
who
just
is
all
who's
for
only
being
ever
just
exclusive.
in exclusive
they just
relationships,
believe in, yep, they ain't into this open relationship
that
stuff.
would be me.
They're not into the
I'm serious.
polyamorous stuff. Um, yeah. So they
Yeah,
only do monogamous relationships.
that is it. That's it. That's all.
But the term, when people saying that they're a serial monogamous, to me, I think it's a little degrading. To
That
say,
it is.
it's kind of like a play. Instead of just saying they're a monogamous person, to say they're a serial monogamous, almost makes it put you in the mind of serial killer, and
Yes, exactly. It's like
you
why is
know.
that? Why is that even
But I
in
think it's,
the
but I think
phrase?
it's a tit for tat because it's the same way how that people feel that monogamous people talk about people who are into open relationships and things. So it's kind of like, well, you call me this, I call you that.
All
It's
these
just
extra
like these,
titles.
yeah. But it's like these conversations are difficult. Well, I don't say difficult, but it's like you never know what you're gonna get. And it's like some of the things that I say, I'm thinking I'm just coming from human decency. So if I'm dating, because, and this is just my thought, if I'm just dating you or getting to know you at this point, and I decide to sleep with you, that you have just at that point become privy to some information that you wouldn't have been privy
Man,
to.
listen,
You're privy to a
so
piece of
much
my body
information.
that you weren't privy to before. So if I'm going to lay with you, especially in today, because a lot of people say they land with protection and they're not,
Mm.
and the the monkeypox, you can get them even with protection. So
Woo!
so it's like there's some levels of disclosure that needs to happen in this getting to know that we're doing sometimes. If you got a disease or something going on, or you have some type of STD that you need to communicate to people, because we don't do that. That's not being done today. Everybody just say they're on prep, or if they're if they're in the LGBT Q community or whatever, and I guess other folk just be like, hey, it's my body, I can do whatever I want to do. And if you didn't, I mean, I've heard some really interesting things from people who actually are positive with certain different STDs, where they don't communicate that to the person that they're getting to know.
That's awful.
So now these people that they were getting to know are now living a whole entire altered life from a getting to know experience or a dating experience that wasn't with somebody that was willing to commit to them.
Mm.
So
Well, I
now there are
mean,
things that are passed along, whether we want to say disease or even just energetic, spiritual, kind of whatever. There are things
Mhm.
that are passed along from people who ain't made no type of promise to you, no type of commitment to you, you know. So, and everybody has different sensitivity levels. I mean, some people you can't flirt with, that is registered emotionally for them.
mm,
Some people you can't tickle under the table and grab their little booty and do it. Like, I think that some of these things we just have to be more mindful in the way we're engaging another living, breathing human being, whether it's polyamorous, whatever people's whatever's is, morals regarding it. I think the one moral that we should have is I'm dealing with another human,
mm,
and how do I present myself in a way that is compassionate, like we talked about, that's compassionate, taking into consideration, to live that kind of life. So this person don't have to live a compromised life.
Ooh, ooh, that's ooh. Well, thank you for coming to the show. Uh,
Um,
oh my goodness.
and you can send contributions, Cash App, Zelle to what's your Cash App, sir?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you
LeAnzar
just
Stockley.
mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Yeah, Monisha. It's called respect. It is. It
It's
is.
called
And
respect.
It is,
that's
and
And
unfortunately,
Dick, I'm speaking from a man's perspective and from a conversation me and my brother had yesterday. And dick discipline is it is what it is, which
come
which
on, Dee.
which expands beyond just your physical genitalia.
how much DD you
We were talking about the depth of that, and talking about how um, it can affect when you learn dick discipline. It can affect every part of your life, not even just the sexual. It helps you to align to be a better person, period. It helps you align with your creativity, whatever your goals is and what it is that you're trying to do. But we don't make those correlations. But everything, even with your genital sex and all that, it comes from your sacral chakra, which is also where your creativity is. This is also why some artists are so sexual.
got. Oh my gosh.
There's the confusion between my co-creativeness or creativity, and I'm horny. The hormones
Mm.
get caught. So now we feel like every time we have these feelings, we need to do something. And sometimes it's just saying, hey, your creative chakra is activated.
And you
Your
need to go
sacral
and
chakra
make
is
something.
activated.
Write something.
Go make something.
Play
Or it don't
something.
even got to be the physical art. It can be produce something in you that wasn't there before. Allow another form of your character to unfold. Let
Yeah,
another piece of your
yeah,
character rise to the surface.
yeah,
That's good.
Transform.
yeah.
That's good. And if you
Creative
want
on a
to talk,
soul level.
and if you're talking about Dee Dee, then you got to talk about Petey, because at the same time, women have to, like I said, be responsible with their emotions, to not get so attached to everything that looks good, sounds good, feels good,
Mm.
and understand the ramifications of jumping ahead of jumping ahead without having that hard conversation about what it is and where it's going and what the two people are looking for. We see things and light up because this is exciting. And this is romantic. We talk about romance awareness. This is romantic. All the things that we love are happening, and ain't no love entered into the conversation. But you didn't
Mm.
already, put a deposit down on a house and ready to bake babies and do something else with somebody who out here with five other women. You have not had the conversation. So, we have to be more disciplined as well with our emotions, and not allowing that attachment to work its way through our bodies and out in the bedroom.
And you know what? When I see the PD and the DD, of course, that discipline needs to be there. And Angel, to your point about ladies, I guess, having more control over their emotions. You know what I see from guys? Even though you may or may not be sleeping with this person or you're getting to know this person, is the flaunt of money. Like, hey, I'm yeah, what you eating? I got you covered. Or I'm a flute you out. You're getting fluked out.
Flued out.
You know, and that seems to be like a jam.
Mhm.
Nowadays, I'll fly you out, come see me, and I'll get the room, or you can stay with me, or whatever the scenario will be, or we'll go to this resort wherever we're going, Puerto Rico, wherever we're going. That seems to be the thing now too. So it's kind of like women check your emotions, men check your bank accounts, check your
Mm.
pockets, because I think that they feel like that's a connection, to the woman. But I know oftentimes we as women, we like, what's in your wallet, So, how do we balance all of that out, and how does all that come into play with, I guess, the definition of romance and romance awareness and compassion and compromise? I know, LeAnzar, last time and this is part two of this,
Hmm.
program, and I think I forgot to share that. This is part two of compassion and compromise. And I know, Lee, you mentioned that compromise is more has more of a negative connotation
Mhm.
than I guess more of a sensitive one, as we as society has been taught to understand it. Can you go into that and elaborate and break up the definition of what compromise really stands for?
Copper usually, so most people talk about it. It just even without even having to give definition to it.
Yeah.
Most people that have the reference for it, it's the idea that you got to give something up, and somebody else got to give something up. So it's viewed a lot of times, sometimes not verbally, but it's viewed a lot of times internally and psychologically as loss.
Mhm. Mhm.
That that there's a loss. So it's hard to understand the benefit of compromise because you're going to process it as loss and losing something or having to give up a part of yourself, um, dying,
Mm.
sacrifice, you
Mm.
know, and those words a lot of times for people in relationship are they're subliminal turnoffs. To be honest, even though you talk to anybody, they're going to give a relationship advice of learning to compromise instead of using what I would say is learning to collaborate. We learn to collaborate. It's a compromise is pictured as a lose lose a lot of times. Collaboration becomes a win win. We win on both we are able to win on both levels, and I'm able to actually take that into consideration. So that's the difference. The compromise kind of really does give somebody feels like they're losing something, and sometimes the losing it's a mentality. Some of it is a mentality because honestly, being able to give of yourself completely to a relationship or give in a relationship to somebody is actually an honor and a privilege. It's a gift. It's gifting, but a lot of times we don't approach it and see it from that perspective. So we're hesitant to actually engage it and do it the way we really should do it.
So compromise. I work with you. You work with me. I think we do have to give of ourselves, right? Of a certain extent. I think I mean, your goal is not to lose yourself,
Oh,
in that
glad you
person.
said that. Glad you just said that.
Go
Because
for
that's
it.
also
Go
another
for it.
thought that we tend to have.
Mhm.
That giving of myself is losing myself.
Mhm.
The only way you lose yourself when you give of yourself is if you are not being yourself.
Mhm.
There's no way you can fully embody all that you are and go give yourself to somebody and lose it.
Mhm.
It's not possible. You can get into this, like the definition of romance, a feeling of excitement and mystery associated with love, and you can get caught up in the being in love that now you're no longer being you. Now you've lost yourself. But if I fully show up present as me, I can bring all of me into this relationship and not lose me. Why? Because I'm the one giving me. I'm actually aware of what is called conscious relationships or enlightened relationships. It's actually bringing yourself, not your representative. I'm not bringing a pleaser. I'm bringing pleasantry when
Mhm.
I've aligned to my authentic higher self. I'm being pleasant, but I'm not necessarily trying to people please. And don't get we bounce back and forth, we jump back and forth. So we have this hesitance in giving of ourselves. I've never seen any, well, I ain't gonna say never. Pain is going to be pain. If you had a relationship that was at any point significant to you and you lost it, I don't think anybody said, well, I'm glad I didn't give all of myself to it.
Mm.
Now, we do that in relationships where it's like we just cuffing anyway, right? We didn't invest too much in it. So it wasn't really that meaningful. But in a relationship that has become to you some kind of way meaningful, for it to be meaningful, that means that somewhere it has attached to your values. Not values, not your value as a person, but it has well, maybe that too. If we think about Ubuntu, that it has now attached, and not attached in a bad way, to a value that you hold. So now when you lose that thing, love is crying, or God, I didn't want to let this go. But the question is now, oh, I shouldn't, we may say I shouldn't have gave myself that much to the relationship, but it's really not possible. You have one heart. So how do you just give piece of it? If we think about it from those particular perspectives, even the whole thing with hardening your heart, you're just going to heart one ventricle. If you hard one ventricle of your heart, the whole heart is going to be affected. And not just the whole heart, but the whole body is going to be affected. So a lot of these things, I think we just have, it's the way we say it. And if I feel like if we change the way we say it, we'll align to it a lot differently and have a different wisdom
So do
regarding
we
it.
change the way that we say it, or do we change the way that we present it?
Both, because we also have to change the way we receive it. This is where our work of renewing our mind comes into play, and really looking at it. Y'all know, because I'll change stuff or make a word that didn't, like I ain't got no
Yes,
word
you
for
know,
it, so I'm gonna
yes,
make up a word
yes, Mr.
because I need this.
Relationality.
Right, I need this word to expound on, because English language period is kind of weak. You look a lot of this stuff up that we talk about in other languages, you walk away. It's just like, oh my God, that's that. The depth of that is what my soul has been crying for all this time. But because we have weaker words in the English language, a lot of things gets watered down. The depth and meaning of a lot of these things get watered down.
Do we have weaker words, or do we just have a weaker perception or understanding, or a weaker definition, or has the words gotten watered down based on our actions over the years?
I think it goes together because in our brain, language is one of the things that really guides, in some ways, language is one of the things that really guides and really informs our experiences. You can find this stuff in like ACT therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy. Um, but it's like language is one of the biggest things that is it can be a blessing, but it's also one of the things that is the curse because of the way we got this language machine inside our head, our mind, and we be
Mm-hmm.
thinking that that's us. But because we use certain language, it kind of guides the experiences that we have. So our relationships may not even seem as strong than those of Eastern culture. Or, like I said, with Ubuntu philosophy, we hear that in America, and it's just like, oh, just come together and kumbaya for a second. You say that to an African, and it means the world. I am a human. I am a person because you
Mm-hmm.
are. I can't be a person by myself. We don't talk like that here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. We speak in words like commitment. Other traditions or other cultures more so come from devotion.
Mm.
These are things I highlighted in my book. Both of them,
What book is
relationship.
that?
This one is relationship ready.
Oh, hold it over a little
And
more because I could see it was a little glare. That's perfect right there. Relationship ready. You can find that at LeAnzarStockley.com.
yeah, but I talked about that in that and in relationality. It's in relationality too, because
Or can you let me see that book?
this is the Bible for all of the other
You can
relationship
find
stuff.
that at LeAnzarStockley.com as well. Relationality.
Relationality. But it's like language is the piece. If we start to shift some of our language on how we say some of these things, it'll shift how we process them. And it's renewing our mind to a new way of living or to an enlightened way of living.
Submission. Ooh, Marnisha, I need you to say more on that because what are you talking about with submission? What are we submitting to? How does that correlate with well, I guess what Lee just said, or maybe what you're feeling. Tell us what you elaborate. We're gonna keep going. But elaborate, Marnisha. We'd love to hear it. Um, so submission. That's interesting. Um, now I got to fold my arms like the old people at church.
Mhm.
Yeah, pull your arm. Um, so I mean, I think what I guess baffles me and confuses me is words are a dime a dozen. Um, action has always kind of been the jam for me.
Mm,
So we use these words and it's like, okay, because if your words don't match your actions, it doesn't matter. Now
mhm.
you could give me all the philosophical terms in the world and I'm gonna be like, oh, you're sexy because I like the way you talk.
Right.
But if you ain't walking like you're talking.
And beyond that, because again, like
Oh,
even
tag her in. Put her in, coach. Put her in, coach.
Go
it's a
ahead.
link.
Put her
It's a
in,
link.
coach.
Tell her it's a link somewhere. But the other piece to that is if you because even beyond action, like there's action, your action needs to align. But I feel like people can mold their behavior in any kind of way. There has to be the embodiment of this.
Mm.
See, when I've embodied this stuff, love is not just, see, it doesn't become a word
Okay.
or just a word
Sure.
or integrity or something you just did. But it's like whatever those words is, we they are empty in and of themselves
Click on that
until
link,
you
Marnisha, when you get in.
actually until you actually embody what these words mean and represent. All of our relationships are still going to be superficial, or the actions that people have are going to become from people just trying instead of them being actions from people really just being who and what they are.
Yeah, yeah, just being. I love that, and I think your mind and your body, it doesn't clash with that. I guess all the extra from, like, you're trying to, people are trying to put these words together, and then they're trying to put these actions together. But if you got to align the words first, but then you're trying with your actions, and it's just trying. Don't you lose your mind? Don't you get tired? How do
You
how do we how do we get Marnisha in?
you sent her the link from on
Yeah, we
YouTube, but
all
she's actually on Facebook. So I
ah,
sent it.
got you.
I
I
sent it.
sent it from here too.
Yeah. The mind piece is interesting because again, we're not even we think about the mind and the thoughts and all this other. It's like but that's getting a little more mental health, but it's like that's not even who we are. Imagine how many the amount of thoughts that run through our head. We
Why do,
experience
why do you say that's not who we are? Mental health.
we
Why you say that?
experience thoughts. We experience thoughts. Actually, even with emotions, we
Mm-hmm.
experience thoughts and emotions. We are not them. This is why you
Mm-hmm.
can step outside of them and look at them and observe them. And this is also why we shouldn't be led by them all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Sit for a moment, any amount of time, and think how many thoughts go through your head
Right. 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 Right.
in any given moment. Those are
Right.
not you. You recognize them though. That's the real you, the one that recognized all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times we get associated with them so much as if they're just like, well, I had this thought, and that, and that's a deeper conversation. But it's like we think that that's just the overall deeper essence of who we are. It's the same thing with our personalities. Our personality means mask, but that's what we've honed to as who we are, and it's because until we've really sat and meditated and processed a lot of this stuff and prayed and asked for clear direction, open the eyes of our understanding that we may be enlightened to know the hope of our who we really are, right? A fish don't know he's in water until one day maybe he becomes aware of the water. You don't recognize cognitively that you're walking around through air, but you can become consciously aware of the air. We can't even see it. We just have to kind of feel it or whatever. But that awareness within ourselves gives us the ability to see thoughts that we have, emotions that we have, and they're so connected to us because we feel them. We're the ones that feel them. I'm experiencing these emotions. I'm experiencing depressed symptoms. I'm experiencing love or whatever it may be. Love in the, is it now? Love in the, no, now, not now, verb or feeling sense. Y'all get what I'm saying.
But
All right.
can you truly experience these things
Without your mind,
prior to losing these things?
can you experience like love and uh
Can you experience love without the hurt? Can we?
oh, okay.
Because we like you said, we walk around in the air all day long, right? And we just out here breathing. We take it for
Mm-hmm.
granted. Everybody does, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as we can't breathe, we're tripping, right? Rightfully
Exactly.
so. As soon
Mm-hmm.
as the fish is out of water, they're flopping all over the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't. How do we get? Let's
She,
pause for station
she's coming
identification.
in right now.
Yeah, she's coming in. She's in there.
Thank you guys for tuning in, everybody. Compromise and Compassion Part 2 with LeAnzar and Angel. I'm Bryson. We got Marnisha coming on. GPS, we found you.
Mm-hmm. Or she found us,
She
and she
found us.
froze.
And
Oh,
she
and
froze in our
Rose.
clothes. Marnisha, you there?
You probably got to take her out and let her come back.
Yep, take
Uh,
her out and let her slide back through. In
there
the
we go.
meantime, guys, everybody that's tuned in, thank you so much. I want you to take the time, check out angelsimmons.com, check out LeAnzarStockley.com. You can follow them both at Society 61 at LeAnzar. Um, you can follow the Message Inc. and you can follow Love's Great Design. And I think I got them, y'all. Is that good?
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
real good.
All right. Thanks. Thanks. Go get their books. Go get their books. And I always forget to bring their books and show them. And I'm so glad that they have. I'm glad y'all promote yourself because I
I
always
normally don't
forget
have
to.
mine, but it's actually just sitting right here.
And
So
I didn't bring mine today. She said she has to get to her laptop. All right, we'll
oh,
be
okay.
here for a while. All right.
Yeah, holler at us when you get squared away.
And she was gonna be commenting on submission. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Submission.
What
Yeah.
she meant by submission.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's put a pin in that. Here's the pin. I'm putting a pin in it.
Okay.
I'm writing. All right, Marnisha. Because I'll forget. LeAnzar, you are excellent with memory.
Mhm.
Can I
So,
just
I'll
say
remember.
I'm just so glad that my friend is feeling better and flapping his gums and talkative
Well, y'all can
tonight.
tell I'm still not 100. I'm not 100, but
I just want to acknowledge you and give thanks for your well being because he got a lot to say tonight and I'm enjoying listening to him.
and you still thick. I see it.
I'm thick.
Because
Right, right here.
they said if a man
This
has
part.
like thick
Yeah, this
features
part.
right here and their nose is thick, they said that they
Oh.
What they say?
that was on the 100 Humans program I was watching yesterday.
Thick noses?
Oh.
Oh, I missed that part.
That was on episode because I only got to episode 3, and
Oh,
I am not
I finished
promoting
it.
100 Humans.
I finished it.
I don't own anything for that show, and it's all
It was good entertainment.
it's good entertainment. It's biased, non-scientific information, but it's interesting, and you take bits and pieces and you put it together for what works for you. But they got some good information on there. They
Yeah.
also said they did a research task on guys who if you dance better, are you better? If you dance better, are you better?
Mm,
Lee, can you dance?
No.
not a lick. Yeah,
I don't even know why I put this water in the
not
mix.
a lick.
I
Everybody
mean,
says
can you do the two step, choir shuffle? You can't. You don't play the tambourine.
I don't.
You don't play the tambourine.
I'm not that kind of same. I'm not. I'm no. I don't.
Okay.
mm, mm, mm.
So I want to read you guys a quote that I came across. Actually, that's in our chat. I didn't come across this. Oh,
Uh-oh.
I think this is the one. But either way, it's in our chat. Going back to all the connectivity and relationships and the things that we just talked about and the stuff that LeAnzar gave excellent consultation on. Um, did y'all just hear that beat?
Yep,
Hmm.
she's back.
Oh, okay. Y'all remind me of this quote.
Okay, quote is up next. Let's see. Let's see what's happening here.
Marnisha,
Hello, y'all can hear me, see
you in
me?
the
Okay.
building?
Yeah, you
Now.
we can see you.
So that was probably me because I had another page on, and y'all was probably hearing yourself talk.
You
No,
No,
you
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 was
were
you
froze
froze.
on our
you
end.
were
Oh,
frozen. You
Yeah,
okay,
straight
froze.
out.
okay.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for chiming in. And we are interested in everything that you said, but we are
Y'all,
most interested in this submission part. So put it together for us, please.
so when Zara was talking about the words being used, submission is one of the words like compassion, like what was the word? Uh, what we say?
Compromise.
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 Compromise, that word right there. Submission falls in line with that word too. So when Zara was talking about
Oh.
all the words that are used, because submission is not a control thing,
Mhm.
Hmm.
but it is taught
Right.
to be a control
And
thing,
it's
and
Yes,
taken as
it
and
is.
one.
it's taken to
Uh-huh.
be a control thing when it's really a together thing.
Okay.
Because
Hmm.
if we submit to one another, there's nothing missing and nothing lacking.
Come
Mhm.
on. You're a
Yep.
GPS?
So,
Yep.
oh yeah, it was in there already. Um, So that's what I just was meaning. Just that was just one of the words on that part. But it's a lot of stuff y'all been saying. I just like I can't type that fast, and I was cleaning, so I couldn't do all that.
Yeah.
It is definitely a word that instills fear and negative
Mhm.
connotation for
Mhm.
many women, especially if you grew up in church. That was a dirty word. You Wives, submit to your husbands. That's the only time you ever heard the word submission being used. Nobody ever told you about the other scripture about submitting one to another. They don't tell
I
you about
don't even
that.
think they
They
use
tell you
it to
about
say
that one.
submit to God.
They don't even nope. They don't tell you about that one. They don't tell you about that one. But it was
It
always
denotes.
something that was used to train women how to be wives. Good wives that don't talk back. Good wives submit to their husbands. That's the only time you ever heard that word.
But
Nobody
with that,
explained how it goes both ways.
exactly. But that takes away from being a helpmate, the lifesaver.
As a
If
connector.
if we say it's controlled and there's got one seniority, but also two, that was part. The reason. It's the fault of the fall of sin when Adam, because it became lordship.
Hmm.
And then that was one of the things God said was going to happen, that men would lord over the women.
Hmm.
But it was supposed to get right back in alignment when Jesus Christ came, because he was the second Adam. So it was supposed to have been done away with.
Mm,
Supposed to be. Yep.
mm,
So with that word, I think our the English language is kind of, it's not expressive enough. And
mm.
it's more every man stand for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's because, and I might be stepping on toes here, but the European Christian Bible, is interpreted, has been interpreted over the years from, an Anglo perspective, and I think that's where a lot of, miscommunication has come from, you know, because that's how we also got whipped into shape as slaves as well, But that's a whole nother story. I'm with you,
Another
Marnisha.
show. Another
I'm
That's
show.
sorry,
that's
I'm not, that's your, I'm not going to try to
You
take it
good.
there
No,
because
you
I agree
good.
with you.
Yeah,
No,
I agree with you. I
That's
agree with you.
good.
We're on the same page.
That's
And I was
good.
trying to bite my tongue, and then you came on here and you said this because when Lee was talking, I was like, "Oh," and then you came on here and kind of, added to it. I was like, "Well, I'm just gonna say it.
yeah.
I'm just gonna say it." But we appreciate you. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell us what your GPS stands for. Does that mean anything significant in your life? Give us a
Yeah,
little bit of background of you.
okay. Your GPS means God's personal servant.
Okay.
Um, so I am a motivational speaker. Grew up in church, so I have license to be. I'm a pastor, so
Okay.
I did all that great stuff. But now just venturing off more into a spiritual, holistic
Sure.
venue, and I promote relationships as well, unity, coming together, and just in being collective in the whole body. In my vision, I have a ministry organization called Revive to Live, and the focus is to empower people to be the best the best them that they can be. So encouraging them to become their best, even if you had a situation where you felt like you could not come back up from a relationship, a job, anything, any form of brokenness where you feel like you was not even living anymore. So
Mhm.
to give you the encouragement and the tools and the support to push you to live out your dreams and your vision.
You're
Mm.
very passionate about that. Your whole tone changed when you started describing that. That's what's up. I love it. Your whole tone change. I love it. I love it. Tell us where people can connect with you. You never know this. You never know where this reaches. So tell people where they can connect with you.
You can connect with me just on Facebook, well, Facebook and Instagram at Marnisha Thomas.
Nice.
Um, I haven't got my GPS page up yet, so I'm
It's
working.
coming.
It's coming, yeah, yeah. I'm getting my butt kicked, so yeah, it's coming.
Mm.
But I do pretty much all my lives on my Facebook page at Marnisha Thomas.
Well,
And they
cool,
be good,
Marnisha.
y'all. They be good. I
They
was
be
on there the
good.
other night. I was on there the other night.
Yeah.
It's about
Marnisha,
peace
send
and
me a
pieces.
friend request. I'm gonna send you a friend request right now.
Okay, great. LeAnzar, I think I need you tomorrow night too. I meant to text you. So yeah, thank y'all for having me. I'm gonna still watch it on, and I'm gonna jump out y'all way.
Thank you
And
for
feel free
popping
to,
in.
yeah, feel free to chime back. You popped right up. Oh, wait,
All right,
You famous. You famous.
for real.
I'm famous.
Thank you.
All right, I got your friend request right now. About to accept it.
All right, cool.
All
We'll
right,
talk to you later.
all right.
All right.
All
Yeah,
right.
That was dope. That
Awesome.
was fun.
yeah, I like that.
Awesome.
I like
Thank you,
that.
Marnisha.
But yeah, like she's even talking about that word submission. So like all of these things, when we the way we process them, and sometimes when you look up the real definitions, some of them, you look up some of the real definitions of them, and we just get a different terminology from it.
Mhm.
We've interpreted, and she used some Bible stuff. We've interpreted fear God for so many years as be scared of God.
Mhm.
But the word fear meant just reverence
Reverence.
And respect. Yeah.
and respect.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's like, but if you go with the English definition of it, it kind of changes some of what it means. Because respecting somebody and reverencing somebody is different than being scared of them.
Mhm.
So I think that's the same thing with the words we use in relationships with each other. Let's find out, if am I using the right word, and let me find one that actually is more suitable to what I don't. This is me personally, so this is opinion. I don't believe the word commitment should ever be used when it comes to talking about people. I feel
Mm.
like people that are made in the image and likeness of God deserve a term like devote. I've devoted myself to this, that. Because again, one, we're talking about a sense of oneness anyway. We speak about these things as if we're separate from each other. So I got to commit to you. Like you commit to your job,
Mm.
that's
Mm.
temporary. Or you commit for a moment to the person you're doing cuffing with. But when you've made a decision to do life with each other, where it's your friends, whether it's you devoted to this person now, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to fight not you, but fight the enemy that's trying to divide our team. It shifts
that's
us. It
yeah,
shifts
that's
us in relationality.
devotion, love, loyalty, or enthusiasm for a person, activity, or cause.
Hmm.
Now let's go to the
It's the D in the book for READY. Devotion is the D.
come on somebody.
Yeah, it help you with that DD too.
Ah!
I knew that was coming.
You
Knew
know
it.
it.
Knew it.
I knew that was coming. I want to because I remembered and I'm very proud of myself for remembering.
The quote.
Um I want to get to this quote, and we have so many of them. Is this even possible?
Oh, that's good.
What's good?
I was reading
What you
some.
got in
No,
your
go
own
ahead.
book? In your
Go.
own book is
Right?
good. Ooh,
Yeah, because I
you-
ain't.
you're
I'll go
gonna
back and read
encourage
them.
your own
We
self.
write it and that's it.
Right.
I just want you to crave me, not just sexually,
Uh,
but mentally, spiritually, my scent, my vibe, my company. So it must have been something in the air, Lee, because we were vibing. Because you posted something similar to this that said what?
When?
You posted something similar to to this that said, "Where'd it go?"
It was on my Facebook page or in our.
No, it's on your Facebook, but you be posting on Facebook a lot
Yeah, especially when it's going down.
when it's
mm-mm.
on your spirit. But
Hmm.
what are your thoughts, Angel? I'm interested in knowing your thoughts
It's
on
interesting
this.
because I sent that to somebody. When you put it in the group, I sent it to somebody.
Okay,
And
how did that work?
we had just recently had a conversation. Um, and if you're a woman, and if you've experienced, that time of the month when some things can happen and some things can't happen, um, there has been conversations with about if you want to have company or not, because this is off limits. If you're trying to hang out, this right here, is off limits. Um, you're not putting all kinds of business out there now. But
Come on.
but that was a conversation that happened, a week or two ago. and the comment that came back was, you're lucky you got a pretty face, or it was something to that nature, and it was meant to be a joke. But I remember
Why didn't I just
here
take that as a joke though? You saw my face.
exactly, but I remember um, comments like that back in my teenage years. Like, you want to hang out, you can come hang out. We can watch TV, watch some movies, we can eat some food, but that's not going to happen, for the next 7 days or so. And it's like, let me think about it. You got to think about whether or not you still want to spend time with somebody because uh, you can't have this
Smash.
level of intimacy.
Did you call it
Um,
snatch?
he did, and I'm
Smash.
ignoring him. This
I
Oh,
said
you
level of
can't.
smash.
intimacy here that can't take place, in this time frame, and you have to reconsider whether or not you're gonna spend some time with somebody. So it was interesting, that these memories was coming up when you posted that, and it was like, yeah, I don't think there's a woman alive that doesn't want to be wanted
There's not a
outside.
man alive that don't
Or
want to be
okay,
wanted.
man, okay. I can only speak for me. So the woman, I know for a fact that there's not a woman alive that does not want to be wanted on that level, spiritually, mentally, uh, physically, her scent, not just physically, but her scent, her conversation, her laugh. That you want somebody to want you, and I think about that's the song. I want you to want me. Who is that? Is that
Uncle
Marvin?
Marvin, Uncle
That
Marvin,
Marvin?
Uncle
I want you to
Marvin.
want. I want you to want me like I want you, and it's not just a physical thing. I
It's the
want
call
you to
for
miss my presence to the degree that you will come and sit here for nothing.
I think it's the call in our
Actually, you're
soul
sitting there for everything
Well,
though.
you
for
You're
come on,
sitting there for
come on,
everything.
come on. You right. You right.
yeah. I
Go
think
You
it's
ahead,
the
right.
Lee.
call in our soul, and we don't say it this way again because we just think the romantic aspect of it. But I think it's the call in our soul to be truly experience the unconditional,
Hmm.
to experience being accepted, loved, the apple of somebody's eye, just for being me.
Just that.
Like not because I did all these tricks and this is that and the other. I think we all have that, and most of us are living in performance mode, or we end up living in performance mode. And some
Oh,
people are avoiding relationships because they don't want to have to feel like they're living in performance
and
mode.
it's not
Woo.
just a physical thing,
Yeah,
but
it's
if,
not.
if you're not gonna come over because I didn't cook,
It changes, yeah, because it's like you start to ask, what are you
right?
having a relationship with?
Or if
Are
a
you having a
woman
relationship with what I provide, or
that
are you having a relationship with me, all that I am? Or you just having a relationship with the fact that I got a good job. See, I
that
make a
right
good
there.
business partner later, or I make a good security plan later. So
Okay,
you don't have a
all of that
relationship.
Oh,
You don't got a
security plan.
relationship with me at that point. You have a
No,
relationship with money. I just
you got
happen
that
to be
right.
one of the conduits
conduit.
for how you have that relationship. And that's what we have to realign our priorities when it comes to the relationship talk. Is because again, the way our society is set up, it really truly does take us away from each other. It pulls us into what's more important is my career, what's more important is how much money I'm going to make, what's more important is can we. So then now we start to find partners that support my career, how much money I can make, how. And again, I'm not saying that's a horribly wrong bad thing, but it makes the career, the money, the whatever more important than the people standing right next to you.
It's
Absolutely,
superficial.
It
absolutely,
at the end of the day, it really is.
absolutely.
This was the comment you were talking about, Bryson.
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah, yeah. And
Hmm.
to piggyback off what Angel was saying, she said, women we crave that we want, and you interjected real quickly, men do too. I
Hmm.
don't just want to I
Right.
don't just want to
Oh,
thrive.
sorry.
I want no, you're good. I
Hmm.
don't just want to thrive. I want to thrive with you. Actually, the
Big
way I
difference.
see this set up, I need to thrive with you. Hashtag I am love for you. Hashtag relationality.
And I should have put hashtag Ubuntu.
And even
But it.
thinking about that on the flip side, for men and women that are dating or courting or whatever, if you ask the woman or whatever, if you ask your partner, whoever, If they wanted to, we hanging out today and they ask you, well, what we gonna do? What we doing? Where we
Mm-hmm.
going? It always has to be contingent on, am I gonna enjoy these activities? Are we
Mm-hmm.
eating where I want to eat? Are you picking me up? I mean, I got to drive. You
So even
know,
if it be, yeah,
that's all part of that performance piece. It's not
it is.
just come sit with me,
And we're prisoners to it to
share
a
my
degree.
space.
That's what our whole culture is centered around. It's please me, make sure, excite me, draw me in,
Give me a reason.
give me a reason.
Give me a
Yeah, it's like
reason.
it's all that or whatever. And again, I'm not saying that that shouldn't be present, but it's like that's what it ends up becoming, and that becomes the totality of whatever. This we what we don't see and what you guys see me crying over all the time is that these little subtle things that we have that are coming in, they're the little subtle things that's creating this toxic community we live in. It's coming in very subtly. Little messages. I can't stand to see a message from churches that are, if you listen closely, was a huge message about division.
Mm,
Like it was a subtle message about individualism, not just being an individual, but individualism. Where that's the whole. It's more that's self-centered. It's not let's truly thrive together as people. And again, which would be our nature. We were designed for that. The reason we're able to smile together and cry together or cry from each other is because our design was made in such that we were created to complement and design one another. When that's not happening, we cry.
mm,
There are tears. Your feelings are hurt. Or
mm,
and but then we just say, get your feelings off your shoulder, which there's a place for
mm.
that.
Stop wearing them on your sleeve.
There is a place for that. But it's like the biggest grievance for a lot of these things that I see relationally is what people really, because we're playing relationship musical chairs. We're bouncing from
Right,
relationship
right,
to
right, right,
relationship to,
right.
and we've made it law. Like, oh, that's what's supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
And you're
it's
bringing
supposed to
those
be.
other feelings from your other relationship into your new connection.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's why your feelings are on your sleeve. And that's why the other person probably don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. It's
At
like there's just
all.
those little things that are happening that I generally tend to see, and I'm like, y'all don't see that this is the whole reason why we in this mess in the first place. We have to reclaim and redeem the times for
Come on, Auntie
our
Maxine Waters.
reclaim our
Reclaim
time.
it.
I'm
Mm.
reclaiming my
Reclaim
time.
it.
We need to reclaim that time for our relationships and stuff like that. What it means to truly be relational, human, you know, and that's a global enlisting that really has to happen. But of course, we know everybody knows.
And that goes back to the other the other quote I had put in our chat from that certain pastor about loneliness being triggered by relationship cycles, because we're
Mm,
so
Mm.
used to moving back and forth. You got new partners every year, different friends every month, new passes every other day, because nobody will sit and commit to something. And if you don't want to feel lonely, then you have to stop the emotional, relational revolving door. It's a revolving door. What did you just say? Cuffing season.
Right.
So, so they're about to start this
August 1st through
August.
31st.
So August 1st. So this is the month where they recruiting,
Yes. Scouting is what they call it.
scouting. Okay,
Hmm.
and then
Same.
this ends. Does this end before Valentine's Day or after?
All
You know,
together,
it's
it
somebody
ends. No, yeah, it ends before Valentine's
before
Day.
Valentine's Day. So you have somebody
No, I'm lying.
who,
The whole cuffing season
it's
schedule
the winter
goes
months, right?
is the winter months,
okay,
but it's a nice pause between Valentine's Day because you got to figure out if you want to be with that person, you want to get that person a
exactly,
gift,
and nine
if you
times
want to
out of
spend the
10,
whole thing about Valentine's Day
because you got to get ready for hot girl summer.
because you got to
So
get ready for hot girl summer and cuffing season goes through. I think this is an extended period. So they call it. Let me just read the dates to y'all.
go
So
ahead.
Angel, you can apply this how you need to. Scouting is August 1st through 31st. Drafting is September 1st through 30th.
Oh,
Tryouts
come on,
October 1st through 31st.
because relationships are
Preseason
viewed as a sport.
because it's a game. Preseason November 1st through 30th. Actual cuffing season December 1st through January 15th. So you spend your New Year with that person, your Christmas with that person. Playoffs. Who's gonna make the cut, right?
For Valentine.
Playoffs is for Valentine's Day. Playoffs is January 16th through February 13th. Championship game is February 14th, also known as Valentine's Day.
Mm.
Deb- Debate spring break is February 15th through March 14th. Resign or spring break is March 15th through April 15th. Cuffed or uncuffed, April 16th through July 31st. Those are a lot of dates.
So
Wow.
here's my question. Why are you so lonely that you have to have somebody on your arm during this particular season when you can't go out, you're gonna be in the house because you can't stand yourself. You don't like yourself. Okay, you're gonna be by yourself in the house, or you're gonna be with your family because we talk about holidays. These are holiday parties, dinners, events. You're gonna be by yourself. You can't stand you that much that you're gonna recruit another fool to come into this situation to ride it out with you until you get your body back together to go run the street again in June.
Well, my body
This
ain't
is
finna
what
be back
this is
together
what's
in June,
happening every
so
this
is
is
you
what's
is or is
happening
you ain't.
every year. Every year you run through this cycle and you wonder why you're not happy. You wonder why you can't sleep. You wonder why you can't get your mind right, your money right, your body right, your spirit right. None of that. Because you on this cycle of recycling people all the time. How lonely are you? Because there's something wrong with that.
Is it
It actually
loneliness or
reinforces
fear of
the.
being devoted?
They
That's what
don't they don't
Marnisha
even
said.
understand devotion. If you doing that, if you're intentionally recruiting people
It
by
reinforces loneliness,
by a
actually.
certain day, yes, it reinforces loneliness. Absolutely. You will forever be lonely if this is the cycle that you sign up for.
But you know what and what I'm finding out, and I've faced some of this in my ship. We again we think we're losing something or losing out on
Missing out
something.
on
Like
something.
with Marnisha's comment of the fear of being devoted. We don't want to be devoted to nobody because that, again, but what we don't recognize is that some of these things is also the same synonymous with being accountable to somebody.
That
We look at these things as if we're losing something. The reality of these things, when you start to understand these virtues on a essence level, it's for our protection. It's actually for our greatness.
absolutely.
It's actually for our thriving. But we see it as a prison or as an enemy or as a it's going to take my life away instead of it's actually helping me. It's helping to give me the life that I'm designed to actually live. That don't mean it doesn't mean you're not gonna have moments where it's like this is exhausting. Like you're like, oh my god, this person get on my nerves. Blah blah blah
That's
blah blah.
everything.
But
You
that
get on your
also
own nerves.
you get on your own nerves. But that's also how that's the work of we all need to do our part so that we're not exasperating each other like that. That's why like it's two sides of all of this. But
It
I
is.
think that we don't really make these deep commitments though, is because somewhere we don't process that as being an upstanding part of community. We process it as I'm losing something. I have to give up something. I have to compromise my freedom or compromise my itch. And even that, and the reason we have that fear of losing something sometimes is because you have no self-control.
DD.
So when it really boils down to it, what you end up losing is you.
Yeah.
You
And you're
lose the
losing a
depth
bunch
of
of
you
time. In the
and
meantime, you're
time
wasting
and
time
time.
because all of that energy that people are putting into recruiting and playoffs and championship games and all of this that goes along with cuffing season, you go through this cycle of disappointment and learning new people and giving me parts of yourself and then decide in the spring whether or not you're going to keep this going versus having somebody, choosing somebody, or being chosen and devoting
Versus just being
yourself
picked.
just
Go
that
ahead.
devoting yourself to this particular relationship and having somebody to walk and thrive through life with so that you don't have to wonder on August 1st what you going to be doing on April 31st. You don't have to wonder that.
Come on,
You
April thirty
you
first.
have set it up. You are actually thriving in your life and and enjoying this time versus wasting this time. We don't
Mm.
see it as a waste of time until you look up and you've been through 5 cupping seasons and you 50.
I'm gonna say I've had a hard time in relationships. Um, I've had a hard time enjoying them
Mm,
because I know a lot of people come with you're easily temporary. So then there's a well, shoot, it's hard to really enjoy this because I don't know what day the rug is going to be swept from up under me.
mm,
Right,
Is
right,
what's going
right.
to be swept from up under me. So all of this plays upon each other. So now this then played upon my joyousness to be in this relationship because I don't know when you're going to take it away, right? So I think everybody is going through these things in different ways. For some people, it doesn't seem like it's causing them pain, but everybody's in these spaces of only enjoy it so far. Good things
right,
don't last.
right.
Don't put yourself all the way in it. Uh, Everything is one eye open. Everything is with one eye open, and it's because we're so fickle, and because we have been cultured. I'm telling y'all, we've been
You've been
cultured
cultured to be
away.
left.
And we've been cultured away. Even by that, we've been cultured away from each other. We've seen all of the failed relationships, and the ones that we see that are lasting. Why is it every time somebody say I've been married for a year? I've been married for 3 years. Every year you say you get a clap. Yeah, you say you've been married for 40 years, you get a standing ovation and this, that, and the other. But it's like a lot of people, and then they're gonna come with, yeah, they've been married 40 years, but they had to put up with a whole bunch of stuff. There's still these we've gotten away, y'all. We
Right.
and I feel like we're losing something very key to the human species survival and thrival. So everybody comes with this idea. We're having relationships from survival mode. We're in
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
fight or flight, and we keep going into them because we none of us are designed to be alone.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this obsession with them, not a unhealthy obsession, but there's this. We keep going back to it. The reason you keep going back to it is because it's your nature.
Hmm.
That's our design. Now, it don't mean you got to have a romantic relationship. We don't have to have romantic ones, but the reason it's part of what makes us who we are. So but everybody's suffering at the same time because they're not lasting, or somebody just done totally got on your nerves, or
They
you
don't
got
expect that.
you have this school of thought that is relationships are. I told you I had a friend before one time. He says he doesn't believe in marriage because people go into marriage knowing they can get divorced.
And
And
all
we
this,
talked about
and
that before, with walking on eggshells in a relationship, or being scared to have those uncomfortable conversations because you don't know if
mm-hmm,
at the end of the night are we still together. If I bring
mm-hmm,
this up, are we still together? If I ask this question, are we still gonna be together? If I let
mm-hmm,
you know that I am unpleased with
mm-hmm.
something, are we still gonna be together?
And
Right,
is that an
because
automatic sign that we're incompatible? Or automatic? And it's not. These again are things that our mind, our culture, and our whatever tells us. You run into a problem in your relationship.
brainwashed.
We're brainwashed in the negative direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? So it's like if I communicate, Bryson, this is a problem for me between now. Oh, well, we must not be meant to be together, or we. Why do we always got to go to that? Why can't we go to we're all growing human beings that need to make corrections and get ourselves together because we were designed as suitable helpers one to another? There ain't no way in hell where this incompatible. Like as
And
a
every
society,
disagreement is not an argument.
it's
E-
not.
Every disagreement should not be an argument. You're you, I'm me. We're individuals. We can
Yep.
be a collective being, but every disagreement should not be an argument. It should be a
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah. And it's or a fight, or mine says anytime we don't disagree on something, we're having a fight. No, there
Right,
was no fight yet.
right.
Well, no fight. We hadn't even gotten to the fight part yet. And I don't think we want to get to the fight part.
You
Right.
ain't seen a fight.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. It's like it wasn't a fight. It's just that this is something that needs. There's a thing called order, and me and my brother talking about this yesterday too. There's a certain order that things should be, and that doesn't mean it's my way or your way, but we have to find
Sure.
an infrastructure. If you're building a house, you're building a house. It's not beams going off over this way. How are you going to put this house together? There has to be some type of structure for this
Absolutely.
unconditional home.
I had
we're
this
trying to build.
conversation over the past couple of weeks. It just keeps resurfacing
Mhm,
with
mhm. It's like
people, you know.
it has to be there. It has to be there. You
It's
know.
got to be
So.
your way or no way. No, it doesn't have to be my way ever. No, we'll never know.
Mhm,
But we're human, you know,
mhm.
and there needs to be a certain level of structure and for this construction that we're building or
Yeah,
that we're maintaining or whatever the case may be.
that incorporates both of us.
That incorporates both of us,
Mhm. I
none
can't.
more or less than the
Can you
other.
can you imagine H2? Can you imagine hydrogen trying to fight with oxygen?
Mm.
We wouldn't be. We'd be thirsty.
All the time.
Learn to collaborate. But guess what? Hydrogen is still 100% hydrogen.
Sure is.
Oxygen is still 100%
Didn't
oxygen.
lose
But
nothing.
it's learned how to mesh together to make something that
Two
didn't exist
together,
before
H
together.
two other, H two
Yeah.
H two other, H two
There we go.
H two other.
I got a quote for you. I saw this. I didn't get a chance to drop this in the chat yet. This I saw on Facebook. It says, "Can we normalize saying we weren't compatible? We wanted different things out of life. We weren't on the same wavelength. We didn't communicate well. Our priorities, values, interests didn't align. We were holding each other back. Instead of accusing every single person you date of being abusive, narcissistic, or
Ooh,
manipulative, it's literally okay for a relationship not to work because two people just aren't right for each other. There doesn't have to be a villain."
I got something to add to that. I agree. I agree. But I also got something to add that can we normalize? What's the list? Give me that list. Just a few of them.
Weren't compatible, wanted different things, didn't communicate well.
Man, give me one more.
Priorities, values, interests didn't align.
Right. Wanted different things. Didn't communicate well. Didn't whatever. Can we normalize saying we were dysfunctional? That don't mean we had to end the relationship.
Oh,
That means we needed to fix there was something in us that was butting heads. Again, if we think from nature, and again, I'm not saying everybody's going to be, whatever. But
hmm,
the concept of this is we have to think God ain't made us all this. If we're
complicated.
facing
Right,
yes, if we're
right.
incompatible and we're not complementing one another, have we thought about that? It could not be that you're the wrong person. Is that I'm being put in a situation where I need to develop my skills.
mm.
I'm being put in a situation where I need to develop what it takes
Oh
as a
no, 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 because
relational being,
I gotta be self-aware and I gotta be accountable. Lee, you
which
making me
leads to
do it too much.
self-righteousness.
You're up, you're making me do it too much now.
Well, the first thing I saw when I read this whole list, and then I went back to we didn't communicate well, and I'm thinking to myself,
That's a skill,
if you don't communicate well, you don't know if any of this is true
That part.
which is
because
true.
you didn't
And
actually
you're gonna leave this
even
relationship and
know
go
how
get
to
with
ask
somebody
this,
else and go get with somebody else and
and you're
still
gonna
not
have the same
communicate well.
list. You're gonna have the same list.
This is what I'm saying. See, the ideas that we keep buying into, and this was my biggest argument in therapy school, in counseling school and stuff. We have we have this idea, even though we don't say nobody's perfect, right? Or we don't say everybody's perfect. We say nobody's perfect, but we don't go into what that really means. That means that even with my whatever self, I'm going to go to a relationship. But because I'm not perfect, somewhere at some point, my imperfection is going to seem like an opposition to this relationship.
Uh-huh.
It's going to pose a problem somewhere at some point, whether it's a problem within me that I'm not expressing, or whether it's a problem with us that we actually visually are able to see. So we're not taking into account that even the purpose of our relationships the purpose of our relationships, one is to resemble oneness and what that really looks like, but it's also to support each other in being the higher version of yourself.
All right.
That means that if I'm in your life any duration of time and I'm here to help you be the higher version of yourself, I saw you when you didn't have your shit together. I'm sorry. Can we say that on this show?
We can
You
say
already
whatever we
did.
want to
You
say.
But do
did.
you understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I was in your life at one point when you didn't have this together.
Mhm.
But part of the reason for the relationship is to help you get it together. It's like when we make these comments and people talk about soulmates. I was like, your soulmate is
Yeah.
gonna piss you off because your soulmate is gonna really bring. We
That's
romanticize it in the honor of Romance Month. We romanticize the idea um, of a soulmate, but we don't realize the reality of a soulmate.
Right.
They really
And
gonna challenge you,
their purpose.
and exactly,
absolutely.
Their
really gonna
purpose.
challenge you to be
You're supposed to get pissed off. I'm supposed to piss
you.
them off. It's
Yep,
not supposed to be intentional,
yeah,
but
yeah. It's not like malicious.
in that growth,
Hmm.
that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Because, like you said, sometimes your imperfections will infiltrate because we're human, right? Because we're
Yep.
not perfect,
But if
so they
you've
will.
made it, yeah. But if you've made a commitment to just being happy every day, your
Mhm.
relationship is gonna fail. If you've made a commitment to there to only things going right, your relationship is going to fail. It's going to fail. Any of them, whether it's with your mama, your children, your significant other, whatever, it's going to fail. And
Yo,
if
this is
we
a
haven't
whole.
made a devotion and commitment to being our higher self, if you ain't made that commitment, even if you don't, you can do this even if you don't fully know who you are. If I haven't made that commitment to myself to be the best version of me, which includes me being a contributor to somebody else's life, then my relationships are going to fail because I'm using my relationships just to tickle my fancy.
You know what? There's a
Cause
certain
it's Tickle
level.
My Fancy Tuesday.
Yeah, we ain't
That
there yet.
comes
We ain't there
after
yet.
Moist Mouth Monday, though. 2 more days.
There is a certain level of maturity that we come to in relationships where we are okay with owning up to those mistakes that we made when we didn't have all our shit together, like you said.
Hmm.
There's no expiration date on accountability. I
Ooh.
had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about why I don't feel comfortable in this particular space because of an experience I had, almost 10 years ago. Um, with a church I used to go to. I don't really, like how I feel when I'm there because last time I was here, this is what happened or whatever. And in the middle of that story, and it was real quick, but the person that I was having the conversation with did some things that led to me feeling uncomfortable in that space. And he
Cause
stopped me.
all they heard was one portion.
He stopped me right. No, he stopped me right in my tracks. He said, "You know what? Um, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry for all the hurt that I caused that even put you in that position. And this is 10 years ago. It was a genuine, heartfelt. The way he was holding my leg, I couldn't even make eye contact because I thought the tears were just going whoosh out of me. Just having that conversation, just to hear that.
Hmm.
I didn't realize how much hurt I had
Right.
caused at that particular time, or the fact that it was still having a negative impact on you, and why you don't want to go here or go here or go here. And I'm truly sorry. This was,
Hmm.
this is something that happened almost 10 years ago. And just I couldn't even keep talking. All I could say was thank you for saying that. Thank you for acknowledging. Thank you for acknowledging that. You didn't have all of that together at that time. And all of these things erupted because
And
of this. And you see it and recognize it and took accountability. And the fact that
this
you see
that's
it's still affecting me.
that's a
I'm
part of
sorry. But it's
that's a
still
part of
affecting
everybody doing their part to be built up in love. We're gonna step on each other's toes, and that's why I think what you guys hear from me a lot of times. No, there's not a. I don't believe that nobody should ever break up, and people think I think that way, but I do think we need to put a little bit more. We need to think about it a little bit deep, a little
me.
bit bigger than what we do. We just do it so whatever now. But the truth is
Right.
like, y'all, we're all growing. And if everybody keeps running out in the midst of you growing, we develop some of what we see today in the world. Or we develop many of the things that I think I face personally. Or what it was like, is anybody willing to stick around the whole time?
Hmm.
Like I'm gonna mess up. So if I get in a relationship with you and you expected me to meet your desires every day, I'm already scared because I'm like I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm not gonna be able to. I know as great as I can be,
Great.
you know,
Tony the Tiger, great.
I'm going. Yes, it's like I'm going to at some point not do it right.
Mhm.
And part of feeling secure in relationships is knowing that when I ain't do it right, I still had somebody say, I got you. I love
Right.
you without condition. I told my son just a few weeks ago, and I know we got to get ready to get off it, but it's like, told him a few weeks ago, he said some things about fear and just feeling not wanting to disappoint people. And this is that. And I said, listen, let me try to drill this in your head so that this is straight. Your love, me loving you, has nothing to do with whether you disappoint me or not. So the one thing that you don't have to question is whether if you failed at something or didn't do something right or you did, it ain't finna change how I love you.
Mm.
It's not gonna change my love for you. Yeah, we need order. We need there's an infrastructure and limits and things that has to be there, but it don't change my love. And I think we need to learn that on all aspects of life and on all levels of life. Again, the romantic thing is a little bit whatever because people treat that more like you're shopping. You know, we talk about it, the market, and this is
Mhm.
people treat it very casually. It's treated as I'm going to buy this and I want my money's worth,
Mm.
and which I think is the downfall of romantic relationships, to me. You
Mhm.
know, but because we don't hold the same weight. I can't love you unconditionally because you my woman or my girlfriend for the cuffing season, but I can love my kids unconditionally. I still
Mm.
think we have a struggle understanding what love really is. If I say I love you. Y'all, yeah. This is the kind of
um,
love I need.
yeah. This is good. This was good. This was good. This was good. I think this is a great place to to give the benediction. I think this is a great place. Compromise and Compassion, Volume 2, the Cuffing Season Edition.
Ooh,
Um,
cuffing season edition.
edition, yeah. You guys can check
I'm
out
too
Angel.
hot to thought.
Because
Mm.
tomorrow is Moist Mouth Monday.
Hmm.
Tuesday
Drink your
is,
water or
oh my
whatever other
God,
liquid libation you like to drink and
whatever
slurp on.
other liquid libation that you like to slurp
Slurp on
on
My,
for
my,
Moist Mouth Monday.
or
my,
guzzle.
my. Oh.
And Too Hot to Thought on Tuesday.
Mm.
No, too hot to thought. It's Thursday, ain't it?
That's Thursday.
But what's Tuesday?
Tickle my
Tickle
fancy.
my
Tickle
fancy
My
Tuesday.
Fancy. That's why I told you I knew I was gonna remember. Tickle My Fancy Tuesday, Wet Wednesday, midweek, hump day, Wet Wednesday. Thursday is say what now?
Too hot to start.
Too hot to thought, and then we take it into the weekend with what?
Freaky Friday.
Freaky Fridays. There's so many other F words that could be used in front of Friday, but we're just gonna leave it at Freaky Friday. Angel Simmons,
Fun
you're the
filled
bomb.
Friday.
You're the bomb.
Thank you so
This
kindly.
was I appreciate your transparency, your vulnerability, and just the ability, for us to come together and to share and just to be open. And we go from zero, I don't even think we go to 100. We'd be like in astronomical levels, but it's well worth it and definitely a service. Um and definitely appreciate it. You guys can find Angel Simmons at angelsimmons.com because you should go get both of her books. If you like what you heard tonight, you should definitely check out her books. Angelsimmons.com, at Love's Great Design, at The Message Inc. LeAnzar Stockley, you can't nobody tell that you was on the sick and shut in list, fella. Can't nobody tell that
Nope.
you was on the sick and shut
I
in
can
list.
tell. My
But
Nope.
I
groups last week could tell. They was like, "Ooh, all right."
well, we on this end we grateful for grace because you it's definitely been extended to you, and you have
It
extended
has.
it to us, and we are grateful for that. Um, always amazing. Your passion that you pour, into relationality, as a whole, and then what you choose to share with us, on this platform is pretty dope. It's pretty dope.
Appreciate
Um,
that.
I appreciate you. LeAnzarStockley.com. You guys should go get his books too because he's pretty fly. LeAnzarStockley.com at Society 61 at LeAnzar. And there you go. Oh, can you see my hand?
Hmm.
Thank you
For
guys for
you.
tuning in. We will be back October. October. We'll be back in October. We'll let you guys know the dates. But if you want to keep up with us, make sure you follow us on all the platforms that are going on your ticker. And thank you, Angel, Sweet Spot Media. That'd be me. I don't even think I said anything about Sweet Spot Media earlier.
You didn't.
But
You did.
I'm relaunching that page. So if you guys go follow me, it'll be cool. I'd appreciate it. You can also follow me at the original Brysen. And we're doing things. We're doing things. I got to figure out what my new season's going to be like. I'm not sure if it's going to be a cuffing one, but it's a new season approaching. You feel me? August 17th, it's a new season approaching. So
Woo-wee.
Shout out.
I appreciate y'all. This was good. This was good. We are signing off. Thank you
Shout
very,
out
very
to
much.
one of our regulars that is here, Merrick.
Where's Merrick?
Where is
It's his.
him?
It's
Where is
his.
Merrick?
It's his.
How you push the
High
button?
school reunion. His high school reunion this weekend. So
Ah,
he's dealing with that right now.
We could have went
okay,
to the
okay.
reunion.
I know, right? He
We
could
could
have
have been
brought us.
live at the reunion.
He could
Right?
have brought us, but he ain't bring us.
Mm.
Merrick Murray,
Mm.
Eminem, we miss you.
We
Is this how
miss.
you throw M's? Boom.
Eminem.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Shout out to Eminem.
Yes.
Let's
Anybody
send
else?
him
Y'all
that
got
picture.
any final words?
I don't.
Accountability has no expiration date. That
Hmm.
is the good word I would love to leave you with. It's never too late to correct your mistakes, change your mindset, uh, make amends. Amends are a good thing. Good thing. They mean a lot.
Amends and men's.
They mean a lot.
We out, y'all. Thank you.
I would just say, let me say this, fellas, practice your dick discipline.
Whew.
DD.
It'll take you much further than just a bedroom.
Mm. DD and PD.
I'm gonna
See
need a
y'all.
post about that, Lee. I'm
Practice
gonna need
it.
you to post about that. Okay, y'all.
Practice it.
Peace out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. Share this page. Share this page. We're just trying to touch the world one person at a time or something. Share this page. Thank you. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.